Hello and welcome everyone to the EDC for Fun channel. My name is Dennis. Thanks for checking out the video. Today we're responding to a tag that was put out there by my friend Milton over at the Mind of Milton channel. Okay, so the tag that Milton put out is actually an old one that's been around for the last year or so. It was originally an open tag. I think it was started by Pete from Cedric and Ada, and this is 5 knives that make me happy. I did a version of this actually when I first started my channel, and so I'm not going to repeat any of the things that I did there. You're welcome to go back and watch that video if you want. If I remember, I'll go ahead and link it here. I'll also link to Mind of Milton so you can see his 5 choices. He was tagged by Rob from Rob's Nerdy Knives, and I just want to really quick just say thanks, Milton, for the tag. I appreciate it. And without any further ado, guys, we'll go ahead and get started here with the first. First up is going to be my Kaiser Hiccup. And one of the reasons this knife makes me happy is because I was not expecting to like this knife so much. When I bought it, it was, I got an email notification from White Mountain Knives about some knives that had just come out, and I saw this one. It looked interesting. I wasn't too big on front flippers. I wasn't too big on button locks, but for whatever reason, something told me to give this one a try. I did, and I got to tell you, for under $100, I was more than happy. And the longer I have this thing, the more I use it, the happier I get with it. It just continues to exceed my expectations for an EDC knife. We've got a 154 cm blade, drop point, beautiful swedge up there. We've got green linen micarta, loop over, deep carry pocket clip, blacked out hardware and scales. And one of the things that I really love about this button lock is that it's solid. I've beat this thing up. I've done a lot of work with it, and it just takes it, which I was not expecting to get out of a button lock. So another reason why this knife makes me so happy. Plus, it is just monstrosity as far as fidget factor goes. It's a front flipper with an opening hole for deployment, so you can just sit there, and when you're not doing work with this guy, just have a blast just flipping it and, you know, just deploying it over and over and over again. And it is super fun. Next up, we've got another button lock, but this one is the Spyderco Smock. Now, it's actually, for those of you guys who don't know, it's a compression lock with a button. So it's not like other button locks, excuse me, that you may see out there on the market. Spyderco's had this one out for a number of years. I originally slept on it, and that's one of the reasons why this one makes me happy. Similar to the Kaiser, when I finally pulled the trigger on this guy, I was blown away at how much I liked it. It is just super fun, super fidgety, and super functional. And this guy has got a wicked hollow grind on it, and you can see that beautiful satin finish there, and it's super slicey, super pokey, and as you can see, it's also been customized. I've got some titanium frag pattern scales on here from Maton Boss, as well as a 3D milled titanium clip from Maton Boss. I put hardware from Blades We Love, titanium hardware that upgraded the T6s to T8s, and I'm just loving this thing. It is just a great EDC knife that looks good. It functions extremely well and makes me happy every time I pull this in and out of my pocket. It is an absolute joy to use. Next up, we've got another one from Spyderco. This is my Shaman, and one of the things that makes me happy about this Shaman is that it's got Z-Wear steel. Now, initially that didn't make me happy because I was actually chasing after the Crewwear Shaman, and they were very hard to get, and I did not want to spend the you know, the gouged prices on the secondary for for what people were asking for it. It just wasn't worth it to me. And then when I heard about the release of the Z-Wear version, and realizing, you know, Z-Wear and Crewwear are essentially the same thing, I was, you know, very happy with this as a consolation. And yes, it's not Crewwear, but like I said, Z-Wear performs just as good. It's in the same family. This thing has got a crazy edge that I put on it, super sharp, and this thing is just a beast. You know, I do a lot of work with this guy outside, as well as processing wood. I've got a wood stove, and this thing, it just goes to work cutting up wood and, you know, shaving, you know, making quick work of all my wood cutting tasks. And of course, cardboard, it just goes right through that stuff. Packaging, no problem. But this guy is just an absolute workhorse for me. And oops, the other thing I love about it, what I failed at first there, but I got there the second time, was that you can front flip this thing, which is super fun. Of course, it has the Spidey hole, so you can Spidey flick it as well. And you know, this guy is just an all-around great working knife, and that makes me happy. Next up, we've got the Luft Concepts Avant, and this guy is really cool. I just I don't have anything else with lines quite like this one, and it is deceivingly big. Not that it's a huge knife, but it only weighs 3 ounces, and for a knife that weighs 3 ounces, it's actually a you know, fairly large size knife. It's got a 3-inch blade, and I forget what the overall is on it. I'll grab a ruler here real quick. Overall, we're right around 8 inches overall. So again, it's not a huge knife, but it's not a small knife either, but it only weighs 3 ounces, and that's because it's got titanium inset liners and micarta scales. Of course, it's also rocking an M390 hollow ground blade, and it's got the flipper tab for deployment, as well as the opening hole. And this thing is just super slicey, and with the cutting capabilities combined with the lightweight, this just makes for a great carry. Every time this goes in my pocket, it's just a dream to carry, a dream to use. It's super functional, super fidgety, and you know, those are some of those qualities rank really high for me, and this knife definitely makes me happy. Okay, last but not least, we have the Nimble X, and this knife is, I've said it before in other videos, this is overall my favorite fun knife, and it can definitely get some work done, but it's also super fidgety. And so for a knife that is basically in the same, more or less, form factor as the Shaman in terms of the blade shape, the size, and everything, not only does it perform well, but it is just super fun to flick. You've got multiple deployments. You've got the back flipper, you got the front flipper, you got the opening hole there, and it is just super fun to deploy. Plus, it's got these beautiful titanium frag pattern scales that just look so great. The accents, the anodization has faded on these a little bit, but they still look good. You can see the clips all scratched up there. This thing's got a ton of wear, and you know, it wears it with pride. This thing is just so much fun to use, and I love carrying this thing, and I love putting it to work. It's got a big M390 blade on there with this giant fuller. I did reprofile the edge. I think this one's at like 17 degrees. I don't think I went down to 15, but yeah, I took it down to 17, put a mirror polish on there, and it took it like a champ. It's razor sharp, it's super comfortable, just a great knife that makes me absolutely happy, as far as folding knives go anyway. So that is my top 5 knives that make me happy. I want to go ahead and thank again Milton for tagging me in this. I also want to tag a couple other people. I want to tag my buddy Rich. Grab his sticker here. Rich from True Budget EDC. Let's see your 5 knives that make you happy. I also want to go ahead and tag my friend Dirk Warning over at the Dirk Warning YouTube channel. And I also want to tag Knife Life 116. He's a newer channel. He's doing a lot of shorts. He's got some long form stuff that he's putting out too, doing some, you know, little mods, scale swaps, pocket clip replacements, stuff like that. But he's up and coming. He's a super nice guy, really just down to earth, and I love interacting with him as well as Rich and Dirk. So guys, you've been tagged. Everybody else, thank you so much for watching. Please leave me a like and a comment. If you don't have a channel, let me know in the comments what your top 5 knives are that make you happy. Subscribe if you're not already. And other than that, guys, have a fantastic day. God bless you. I love you. See ya.